Well, it's hard to believe we are already in week 6 of the football season. Hey everyone, welcome into Extra Point, powered by Lawrence Tech. I'm with Devin Gardner. Devin, I know I just said this, but week 6, we're already through the halfway point.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
It's pretty insane, and some of the numbers that some of these kids are putting up with only 5 weeks to play is pretty insane. I mean, I wish I was playing football in today's game.
I was actually going to ask you, if you could reminisce back to your time when you guys reached this point of the season, what was your momentum to keep powering through? What got you through to the end point?
Oh, I mean, I love football. Like, that's the most important thing. But, I mean, I wish, like, today how they throw the ball all over the field and offenses are so wide open. I mean, my offense was so wide open, kind of wide open as a player. But, I mean, the way they're playing now is insane. Some of these stats are really cool.
Yeah,
it's good to see.
It feels like every week there is a surprising matchup. There's, you know, a little bit of
the way you think is going to happen, it happens the opposite way. Good thing you don't bet on high school football.
Right. If we learned anything from week 5, anything can happen any given Friday. That'll take us right into our takeaways, sponsored by Figer Law. Devin, we'll start off with a top 15 matchup between number 14 Dakota and number 6 Chippewa Valley. That was a good one.
Remember we talked about it a week ago, and it was kind of like Scott Merchant always finds a way, and it looked like he was going to find a way up 17-14, and then Dakota powered through, right? 2 touchdowns straight, 28-17 to finish the game, and that's just another added adoration of that rivalry that they see each other so many times, and I can't wait for next year's already. I mean, that was a nice game.
I know, and we're going to get to the rankings in a second, but I got to give a shout out to Scott Bernstein. In the rankings, he goes for Dakota, something very special brewing in the Cougars' den. So, I mean, he's got that right there, that's for sure. And another good game we had was between number 7 Caledonia and number 19 Grandville. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, so Caledonia, it's really fun to watch them. I remember working with kids, and it's like Caledonia came out of nowhere. Well, it's because of their quarterback. Mason McKenzie, and, you know, on the west side of the state, you usually don't get a whole bunch of love, if you will, but Mason McKenzie has been outstanding this year. In this game alone, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
That is a lot of touchdowns.
7 is my favorite number. I don't know if it's his favorite number. 7 touchdowns. Throughout the year, he's got 22. He has been special. And the thing is, he's not even getting a chance to play entire games, right? So he's got great stats. His stats could be even better if he was able to play the full game. So Mason McKenzie has Caledonia really ready to push for a state championship opportunity.
Right, and another high-scoring game in that one. They put up 50 points to win 50-40. There's a reason why this guy is on our Mr. Football list.
Oh,
that's
he has
for sure.
to be, right? He has to be. And it's crazy because we, especially in week 1 and moving forward, we talked about quarterback play in the state of Michigan and how good it's been. Well, Mason McKenzie is somebody we didn't mention, and that he's one of those guys that are having an outstanding year, and he was even talented last year. I remember seeing him in camps and like, man, this kid's really got something, and his legs are a big part of why he's so explosive.
Right, and you know, who else's legs are a big part of why they're so explosive? Parker Pico with Rochester Adams. Yeah. This game was wild. Like we said, any given Friday, you never know what can happen. This was a top 5 matchup between then number 5 Adams and then was number 1 West Bloomfield. Adams took down the number 1 team 35-18. I was actually there. This was a wild one. Packed stands in Rochester. West Bloomfield actually scored first, take a 7-0 lead early. They recovered a fumble and then capitalized. But Adams, 3 straight touchdowns in the second quarter to go up big, and West Bloomfield couldn't come out of that hole. And honestly, the second half, penalties and self-inflicted wounds really impacted the Lakers' play.
Yeah, I mean, I thought West Bloomfield was the most well-rounded football team in the state just because of their ability to play defense, their talented defenders, and then on offense, they were so explosive. But obviously, Rochester Adams had the answer on what needs to happen.
Right. Their defense came up huge. I mean, Smaj Morgan, he is such a great player, but he was pretty shut down last Friday. But I do have to show you, because although he might have not made as many plays as he wanted to, he still came up big. And I have to show you this one play.
Oh, he made another crazy play, huh?
Let me just show you this right here. Get ready for it. Is that considered a You Got Mossed? I don't know.
Oh, no, that definitely could have been on You Got Mossed. Somebody better call Randy. Somebody call Randy Moss. I mean, but the crazy thing is, I'm not even surprised, right? Because he makes plays like that all the time. Like, he doesn't. It's like, you had a couple kids that go viral and different things like that where they make one-handed catch or something where they jump over somebody. But it's just a one-off. It's like every single week he's doing something like that.
Yeah, and as you're shooting, you're following the ball, and in my head I'm like, all right, Smaj is going to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was awesome. So he played really well, of course, even though they lost him. Parker Pico coming out big. He was hitting his favorite target, Brady Prescorn. quite often. He's prescoring a junior, a 4-star recruit. So
yeah, I mean, he came out of nowhere, right? Nobody even knew.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big tight end and can make plays in the passing game. He's got a really bright future. But for West Bloomfield, for him to get back on track, they've got to find other weapons besides Samaj Morgan. And Requez Nance has to find a way to get the ball to other guys. They've got some talented athletes. They just can't rely on one guy because, like you said in that game, they double-teamed Samaj Morgan quite a bit.
No, exactly that. And I also have to give a shout out to Tate Pico. Blocked a field goal to start the third quarter, which gave the momentum back to Adams. And I'm telling you, he just came off the edge. Great play there. But, you know, like you were saying, West Bloomfield really has to start to get their rhythm back because now we are in a 4-way tie for first place in the OAA Red Division. So it is heating up here. And that's going to lead us right into our top 20 rankings. As we can see, it's shaken up once again, and this is sponsored by ALTA Equipment Company. Here we go. We're going to list off the top 5. At number 1, we got Belleville.
Oh, they're happy West Bloomfield lost.
Oh, yeah. And I gotta give Scott Bernstein another shout out because I love this that he has in the rankings. Buff City, baby. So much style, so much sizzle. That is awesome. And then coming in at number 2, King. We got number 3, De La Salle. Number 4, Adams with that win. Jumping number 5, West Bloomfield. So we've got a lot in there. So, Devin, with your locked-in team, King, I mean, they've stayed pretty consistent after that week 1 loss.
Yeah, I mean, they bounced back super well. I mean, their schedule isn't as tough as you would want to see, but they did get a chance to play Cass and won that game convincingly, right? They did all the things you want to do. They started fast, right? Then they finished, right? They faced a little bit of adversity and was able to continue to play. And as you know, they have one of the most talented quarterbacks this state has ever seen, and Dante Moore. I think that they are huge competitor for another state championship, right? Now it'll be 3 visits to the state championship in his career, and if they win it, 2 wins. So that's super impressive, and they've been impressive to watch for sure. They got guys on the outside, obviously the quarterback, the trigger man, and their defense is playing a lot better.
Yeah, and it's seeming like we could see another Cass Tech King game coming up as the
Oh no, there's definitely going to be a Cass Tech King because the rest of the PSL. I mean, there's no way that Cass is going to lose another game. Oh well, I guess can't say there's no way, but it's likely that they won't lose again. They'll get a chance to play King.
Okay, Devin. So who to watch team? Who do you got?
Rockford with their quarterback Mac Vandenhout. He is talented, and so. I can't say it enough, and it seems like I'm biased because I'm a quarterback, but when you have the quarterback position right, you're extremely talented. Let's take a look at the top 5. Belleville, quarterback. King, quarterback. And not like just any old quarterback, like one of the best quarterbacks in the country for both those teams. De La Salle, quarterback, Elite 11 guy. I mean, Adams, quarterback who is going to be a baseball player, but he's a monster at quarterback. West Bloomfield, that's what we talked about, their quarterback position. Can they get it figured out? Can they start to play quarterback play a little better? Yeah. But they have a lot of good stats from that quarterback position. Like, you know what I mean? So I just think the quarterback position is so important. In Rockford, Mac Vandenhout is figuring it out, and he's really filling those shoes that he had to fill. Yep, exactly. And in the top 4, those quarterbacks you mentioned, all in our Mr. Football race. Well, they should. So, yep, exactly, as they should. And a locked-in team that I got, as you guys noticed, Lauren is not here, so I'm taking over on my locked-in. Detroit Catholic Central coming in at number 9. They're 4-1. DCC coming off a tight win, 21-19 over Brother Rice. Yeah, was Brother Rice too excited after taking down number 1 De La Salle where nobody thought they could do it? Maybe. You're right. Maybe they did. They had, I don't know, but it was another tough game there. Brother Rice back-to-back very close games. And with Catholic Central, their only loss was in week 1 to Chippewa Valley, 20-16. So they've really bounced back since there. Brady Blakita had a play. Oh my God. You saw that? Yes. First of all, he's my favorite player. I love Brady Blakita. He's a great kid, but that 100-yard or 99 technically. Call it 100 yards. I mean, I think you call it 99 because the end zone doesn't count or whatever, but we give you 100 yards. That return was amazing. And it is exactly who Brady Blakita is as a player, right? He's got skill, little undersized, but never going to say no, never going to say never. In great shape because to make all those moves, he ran about 300 yards, to be honest, right? Running left and right and cutting and dipping and dodging and then getting in the end zone. That was very exciting to watch, and I was super happy for that kid. Right, and I thought for sure he was going to get down at some point, and then somehow he wiggled his way out. Never! We expect to see that in the weeks moving forward. Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, Evan Hager of
continues to stand out on the
he's
stat
a
sheet.
monster. He's my second favorite player.
Oh, we're doing favorites now.
Yeah, he's my second favorite player. Brady Bakita, it's Catholic Central. My favorite player is Brady Bakita. He was since like 2 years ago. But last year I saw Hager and come in like spot duty. I'm like, what are the coaches at Catholic Central? Why isn't he starting? Why isn't he playing? Yeah. So much more, like his explosiveness and everything, and everybody's starting to see that this year. Yeah,
dynamic duo there. And then for my Who to Watch team, we've got Brighton. They are 5-0. They're entering the top 20 this week at number 18. So, you know, the Bulldogs are coming off a 4-5 season last year and now undefeated. I mean, that's got to say something. They got a strong upperclassman. They're now first in the KLAA West. They beat Northville 17-14, a close one. But it doesn't matter. You got the win, right? And that win actually put them in first place. Jack Story, an offensive lineman, he's in our Anvil Award list. So they've got a lot of good things going there. And up next, they're going to take on Canton. So
it seems like they're building up for a showdown against Belleville, who's extremely happy to now be the #1 team in the state as far as we're concerned. It took them a while to get there because other teams were winning, but now you're there. Hold that spot, but that showdown, Brighton will have a chance. They remember a few years ago they snatched the dreams and hopes of Belleville in the playoffs before the championship when everybody thought that Belleville would go on and win it. So that's going to be a very, very good game here at the end of the season.
Well, now it's time for what I think is our favorite part of the show. John Belegian joining me now for our Mr. Football update delivered by Hungry Howies. Sean, can you believe we're already in week 6?
Sydney, it's been unbelievable. And you know what? The weather, we've got that high school Friday night weather going on as well, so that's an added bonus.
Yeah, I feel like I was a little wimpy last Friday, 2 jackets, and debated putting gloves on, but I couldn't get to that point yet because then I felt like I was giving myself up to the weather, and I couldn't do it. But the Mr. Football race is really heating up. I mean, has anybody surprised you in this list right now?
Well, you know what? This is the time of year where guys are really starting to make a name for themselves. I mean, look, everybody on this list, they already have a fantastic name. And the guy that we're going to talk about this week is from Warren De La Salle. How about Brady Drogosh from the Pilots? Huge week in week number 5. Check this out. He throws for 100 yards in a score, rushes for an additional $181 and 3 more scores. A huge win over Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Guy 6'4", 200 pounds. He is quite the athlete. For those of you out there that aren't aware, state champion in football, state champion in basketball at DLS. All he is doing now is adding to an already impressive resume. The guy had a monster year in 2021. He is adding to that now, and this is going to see him take his talents to Cincinnati to be a member of the Bearcats next fall, Sydney. So this guy, huge 2021. He's adding to it in 2022.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And De La Salle's 4-1 on the season. And something, you're saying his resume is a very long one, which it is. Great resume. Last year, something to note, too, he became De La Salle's school record holder, and it's a long list here. So be ready. Gear up for this one. School record holder in career total offense, single season total offense, single game total offense, single season rushing touchdowns, single game rushing touchdowns, and single season completion percentage. The list just goes on.
I think that you add that all up, and that means he's on this list for a reason. No doubt about that, Sydney.
And this week, they'll be tested once again with the tough Detroit Catholic Central team. And we already know a matchup like this is always good.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the Catholic League. Each and every week, there are multiple games that you put the circle around and say, I want to get out to that one.
Yeah, looking forward to see what Brady can do in this matchup. And remember, you can vote online for who you think should be our Mr. Football winner this year. And you can go on our website. And remember, the player who has the most votes stays on the list. So be sure to get out there and vote for your favorite player for our Mr. Football contest. We're going to take a quick break and check in with DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine and check out this week's Game Changers.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramus with DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. And today on Game Changers, we're going to talk about balance, how to train it to improve your sports performance. Balance is divided into 2 different types, static balance and dynamic balance. Static balance is the ability to maintain your center of mass, which is right about where your belly button is, within your base of support, your feet. Dynamic balance is how far can I take my center of mass outside of my center of gravity or my feet and still have postural control. Some examples of this in sport are a baseball player in the outfield diving and catching the ball, or a tennis player lunging to make a forehand shot. I'm here with Raylan from Notre Dame Prep High School cheer team to help demonstrate 3 static balance exercises. Start out by standing on one foot. Move the opposite foot forward and backward. Start slow and then go faster. Next, go side to side. Finally, go in circles. Perfect. We can make this harder by having her do those same drills with her eyes closed. Stand and balance, forward back, side to side, and then circles. Fantastic. Then you can progress it by going on an unstable surface, something like a piece of foam. Stand and balance, perform forward backward, side to side, and then circles. I'm here with Owen from Notre Dame Prep High School who plays soccer. And he's going to demonstrate 3 dynamic balance exercises that you can incorporate into your training. Begin with bounding. Start on your right foot, go to your left foot, right foot, left foot. The second exercise is going to incorporate a diagonal movement with that bound. Go off to the side as far and high as you can. The third exercise is the ice skater side to side. These dynamic balance exercises can be progressed by performing them backwards. Start with the bounding. Second, do diagonal backward. They can also be progressed by closing your eyes. Try this with the ice skater. Side to side with your eyes closed. For more sports performance tips, or to make an appointment with a DMC physical therapist or sports medicine physician, visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
Well, as we know, a lot of games are decided in the trenches. So now it's time for our favorite part of the show, the Anvil Award update. I am joined now by Tim Beckler. I mean, things are heating up. We're already in week 6.
They are. We're getting into the meat of the season.
Yep, and with that, there's some changes to our list, so we're going to go through those real quick. West Bloomfield's Amir Herring is going back on the list, replacing his teammate, Kari Jackson. So it goes to show right there how good West Bloomfield's big men are. And then we got Luke Fletcher, the defensive end from Port Huron Northern. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for a while. He broke his arm, so he's going to be moving off the list. We're well wishes to him, hoping he recovers in a quickly. We hope he recovers quickly and gets back on the field. But moving on to the list now, that'll bring up Braden Corser from Detroit Catholic Central. And Tim, that's actually who we're going to be talking about today. So what do you see in Braden?
Yeah, he's 6'1", 215 pounds. I think he started as a sophomore, so he's got a lot of game experience, big game experience. And it shows. When I watch the film, he's very confident. He makes quick decisions. The thing that really pops for me is his burst to the ball. He's got great feet. He makes plays all over the field. And when that's important is, you know, when you get a team 3rd and 8, and there's a lot of great running quarterbacks, and your pass rush flushes them, and you've got linebackers spread out over the field, and that quarterback runs, you can get a lot of first downs that way, and it kind of gains momentum for the other team. But this kid, he can run down that quarterback. He's just as good as the quarterbacks he's playing against. So he's a great tackler, really good football player.
And speaking of that, the first 3 weeks this season, Braden has racked up 40 tackles, just bouncing off what you just said, 3 sacks and 1 interception. So right there, just showing how quick he is on his feet.
Yeah, he's a playmaker.
Yeah, and that included a game-ending sack win over DeWitt in week 3. How about that? So that is pretty awesome there. And DCC 4-1, hoping to improve to 5-1 this week. And every week we like to have our question of the week. You know what? It's a battle in those trenches, as we see every single week. And like we mentioned to start off our segment, we're halfway through the season and injuries happen, which it's never good, but we see that with Luke. So when that happens, someone might need to come in and take over that spot. And with the offensive line, a shift from tackle, guard, or even center, easier said than done. So what are some ways that a guy is put into a good position to succeed when they have to change roles?
Right. Well, the backup offensive line, whether you're a senior or junior, they have to have the right mentality, because the most important ability is availability. And they can't be afraid to make mistakes. They've got to treat it like they're a starter when they're preparation, because really they are. I mean, they're a snap away from being in the game and being a starter. So they've got to be ready to play. From a coaching standpoint, preparation is key, and you have to cross-train your athletes. And what I mean by that is your right tackle, he needs to know right guard. He needs to know left tackle. Your right guard needs to know left guard and center. Your center needs to know both guard positions, because in football, you have 5 starting linemen, right? And you don't want to be stuck playing a young man who just happens to be your second string center. You want to play your 6th or your next best lineman in the game. And that might mean moving your right guard to center so the sub can come in and play right guard. So that's a coaching preparation thing. And then the coaches have to think out of the box as well. I remember I had a year, we had big time injuries on our defensive line. We move our left halfback, 185 pounds, to D tackle. He learned it, and he was our best tackle. He was amazing. In 2017, we're playing a regional championship game. Rash of injuries. He's our starting Mike linebacker, starting tight end. That week, he had to practice left guard and right tackle, just in case we needed him. And you know what? Your best players can learn new positions in a hurry, and you'll be surprised at how really good they are when they do it.
Yeah, and that just shows the versatility of these young athletes out there, that they're able to switch positions like that. Because like I said, easier said than done, that's for sure, and you know it firsthand. But we also, for the viewers who are watching, we have the award right here, the Anvil Award. Coach, I want to see if you can pick it up with one hand. It's pretty.
That's big.
That's heavy.
That's big. You can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it. This is just with my left hand, but you know, I can't really do it. And my heart rate is up. I can tell on my Fitbit here. But we will keep you up to date on our Anvil Award updates right here on our show. And remember, be sure you can vote for who you think should win this award on our website, statechampsnetwork.com. And the player who has the most votes will always stay on that list. So it's so important that you guys get on there and go get your vote in. Well, week 6, we're for sure going to have plenty more games that may end in dramatic fashion again. You never know how these are going to go. So here's a list of games that State Champs will be covering and will be at, sponsored by Menards. I don't know if we want to sing the theme song here.
My singing voice isn't quite there. The acoustics in the environment aren't conducive to my singing success.
Do we blame John Kidd for that, or what do we do?
No. Members blame Lauren.
Oh yeah, blame Lauren. What am I doing?
Lauren, you got to change the acoustics, dude.
Where's he at? Well, it's always blame Lauren, even if he's not here. All right, here's our list of games that State Champs will be covering Friday on Overtime, powered by State Champs. We got Detroit Renaissance at number 2 Kings.
Now you say anything can happen. Kings gonna win that game.
Okay. Don't put me on the spot like that.
I'm telling you, Kings gonna win that game.
You never know. Any given Friday. Come on.
Not on
Let's
that
start
game.
that chant. Any given Friday. All right. Detroit Central at Detroit Northwestern. We got number 6 Dakota. We talked about them at number 20 Romeo. Big matchup there.
I think that could be a big matchup just because that emotional win over Chippewa Valley. You come in, maybe you have a letdown. Romeo's a good football team that's been playing good football, so that's one to look forward to.
Right, and it's at Romeo, so Dakota's got to come in as the away team, and it's never an easy environment, as we've seen every week. Next up, we've got Livonia Stevenson at Livonia Franklin. We got Clinton at Dundee. Those teams are both 5-0. And then Devin, we've got Ann Arbor Huron at number 14 Dexter.
Yes, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a show called The Gardner 5. And our final episode was of Cole Cabana. I'm just telling you, if you haven't watched Cole Cabana play, this may be the game to go watch, because for so many years, Ann Arbor Huron wasn't very good. For so many years, Dexter wasn't very good. Now, this year, Ann Arbor Huron only 3-2, Dexter 5-0. Both these teams are really looking forward to this game. This is a game that Ann Arbor Huron absolutely needs to continue their path not back to prominence, but to relevancy, right? Trying to figure out to be a relevant team. They've done a good job over the past few years, but Dexter, I mean, they just came from the grave. It feels like 3 or 4 years ago. And Cole Cabana is a big reason he's committed to University of Michigan. And I'm just telling you, if you haven't seen the episode, go look at the episode. Fitzgerald Toussaint helped him through some drills and different things like that. But Cole Cabana is a special player in the state, and there's no surprise that he's committed to University of Michigan.
Yeah, he's another name that we say week after week.
Yeah.
But
it's like getting tired of saying it. Like, okay, Cole Cabana did good. You know what I mean?
I feel like there should be a little jingle with it, you know, because it's got that kind of tune to it.
Yeah, he loves having his hair all good. He seems like he loves jingle. He loves the jingle, yeah, for sure.
He's got the flow going. But I do have to put my John Kidd hat on really quick and get into the history books here.
Okay,
but
look at you.
Dexter, 5-0 for the first time since
See, I told you.
1965.
They were terrible for so long.
And then they have not been 6-0 since 1963.
Oh my! See, that's something to play for there. I mean, but like I said, they're not resurgence, like they're surge to being it since 1965. Jeez Louise, Dexter. The Dreadnoughts were awful.
I know.
I were even more awful than I thought.
They're trying to change the history here.
But guess what? Cole Cabana is leading that train. I'm trying to change that history, and they could go 6-0 for the first time, like you said, in a very, very long time.
Right, and then another good matchup we've got going here. We haven't talked about these two teams very often, but we have Troy in Division II, who's 4-1, taking on Seaholm, who's 5-0. So last year, Seaholm was 1-8. Believe it or not, they only had one win the entire season. Now Seaholm is eyeing the OAA Blue Division title. Yeah. I mean, what a turnaround there. But get this, Troy won the title last year. Yeah. So this is going to be a pretty big matchup, and Troy's going to be on the road. So once, like we said, being the road team, you're coming into enemy territory. So you got to come up and play good. And Troy actually has to win to have a shot at the title again. So.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, Troy was another one of those teams where when a team played them, it was like, they're probably not going to score a touchdown on us. Like, you know what I mean? And for them to be able to win it last year and then come in this year 4-1, one blemish, that's good. And Seaholm to turn it around in the next year, I mean, I just love to see good football. Like, that's my favorite thing in the world. Good football, and then second is good quarterback play, and my third, doing nothing. I love for an opportunity to do nothing. That's my favorite. But I've digressed. That's going to be a really good game and two programs that are really turned around.
And that'll bring us right into our Bally Game of the Week, sponsored by Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers. This is a good one. It's a top 15 matchup between number 12 Davison, who is 4-1, headed to number 10 Walled Lake Western. They're undefeated at 5-0. This is gonna be a good one.
Oh, without question. We've seen Davison. We've seen how talented they are. They've had some tough battles, which I think is going to prove very well in this game because they've been through the trenches. They've lost the game. They've faced some adversity this year. Walled Lake Western, I don't think it's faced a ton of adversity. They played extremely well. But the name to look out for, Darius Taylor. You remember when I talked about those stats? Mason McKenzie's got good stats, but he has to come out at halftime. Sometimes they're blowing people out. Darius Taylor is fighting through every single game, and they need everything he's given them. 1,400 plus yards. 1,400 plus yards from the running back position in just 5 games, 22 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's bound to add on more.
That's insane, because Mason McKenzie has 22 touchdowns, but he's got running and passing, right? He's just a runner with 22 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Davison, that's the one thing about Davison, though. They are a team that stops the run for years. They will stop the run. They always got linebackers. They got defensive linemen to stop the run. Will they be able to put a stranglehold on Darius Taylor, and will Drew Viato be able to take the reins and make some throws to win the game? That's the question. I am looking excited. I'm looking forward, because I haven't seen Darius Taylor play in person. Right. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
On the other side, though, Davison does have a really good running back in their own senior Jalen Flowers. He has about 480 rushing yards. Okay, maybe not as good, but let me just tell you.
Not even half. But 480 in 5 games is a good. That's good for a running back, especially because they pass the ball some as well. They're really balanced there at Davison. It's just Darius Taylor, 1,400 yards.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
But
I think
minimize at 400, I guess.
Let me tell you what. Jalen Flowers, though, also has to share the love.
That's what I'm saying.
With their receiver, Tion Armstrong, who he is one that's been hard to contain all season. So those two you're going to see, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And, Davison lost in week 2 against Catholic Central.
Mm-hmm. Tough loss.
Haven't lost since. The last 2 weeks they put up 56 points. I mean, My goodness.
And so they coach those guys up, and like I said, the balance, right? That could be a huge factor, because when you're a one-dimensional team, which it seems like Walled Lake Western is, at least to this point in the season, you know, obviously if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But they're kind of one-dimensional, you know what I mean? And so if you can stop that, which that's what Davison does, they stop the run. If you can stop the run, right? Can Drew Viotto make some throws? We don't know just yet. And on the other side for Davison, you stop the run, they'll throw the ball. You stop the pass, they'll run the ball. So I think that's something that can be a super advantage for them.
Also, getting back into the history books, I tried to did my research,
She's
you know.
She's got like a history book. She's a history major.
Maybe I should just switch my job
I
right
love
now.
you've come to Michigan and fully committed. You guys better listen to this now.
I'm ready.
She's come to Michigan. She's fully committed. She's gotten into the history books. Let us know what we got.
This is the first meeting in history. How about that?
It's awesome.
A little short
On Valley
sentence,
Sports
got it
Detroit.
to the point.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, this is going to be a big matchup. Also, I used to work at ABC 12, Davison, near and dear to my heart.
Flint
Coach
area.
Jake Weingarts, yep, we bonded a lot. Saw them win the state championship.
So are you claiming a
No,
victor?
I don't do that.
Are you
I
claiming
don't.
a victor here? It seems like you're claiming a victor with your heart.
I don't do the predictions here. Oh gosh, don't. Heart over mind, that always happens.
Yeah.
I don't know, it could steer you the wrong way. That's what's happening with my fantasy football team, but that's besides the point. Let me put you on the spot. Who do you got for this game?
I mean, like I said, I will pick balance, right? I'll pick balance, and I think Davison has a little more balance, and they're a little more battle-tested, I think, with their balance. So I would say Davison will win this game. But Darius Taylor, I mean, it seems like you shouldn't bet against them with 1,400-plus yards and 20. I don't care if you're playing against JV teams. That's a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns in 5 games.
Yep. You can catch this one this week on Bally Sports Extra Kickoff, 7:30 p.m. We're going to have a good one. And then remember to stick around after that game for Football Fridays Overtime powered by State Champs. And that's where you will see all the action from around the mitten. We're going to the west. We're going up. We're going in the Flint area down here. We're going to have so many good games.
Will Lauren be there this week?
Lauren will be there, yes.
So you can directly blame Lauren.
Yeah. Anything you didn't like from the show, remember, blame Lauren.
Blame Lauren.
Definitely. Well, that is all we got for Extra Point this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again for another exciting Extra Point episode next week. Have a great week, everyone. State Champs Extra Point is powered by Lawrence Technological University. Visit l2athletics.com and recruit yourself. Extra Point is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. The Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. ALTA Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Hungry Howie's Pizza, famous for flavor. Feiger Law, nobody knows the law like we do. Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers, think Ford first.